Hello and welcome to What's the BPM? This is a podcast dedicated to the history of Australian dance music. We will be chatting to the DJs, promoters and club owners who have been instrumental in growing this scene, from warehouse events to the major festivals we have today. So strap yourself in, subscribe to the channel, and there'll be more episodes dropping in the near future. All right, welcome to the What's the BPM podcast. Real Brisbane legend, DJ Thief.
What's a BPM with Steve Woolley? How you going, mate?
Good, man. Hey, interesting fact this about me. The first ever DJ mixtape I ever got was one of yours from my sister's husband. He was her boyfriend at the time, but he's now her husband. And I think it was called Hardcore Thief. I think that's what it was called. I might have the name wrong.
Which one was it? So there was...
It had like 6 days on the run and stuff like that on it.
Yeah, on the run. Did 3 volumes of that. Break and Enter, 3 volumes of that.
Break and Enter, that's it.
Break and Enter, that was a big tape. Yeah, that was a big tape, that one. Volume 2 was probably my biggest seller, I reckon, out of all the tapes. I did 11 mixtapes over 9 years or something. So, yeah.
Shit. So that's before CDs. You were selling them at Central Station and
CDs.
Yeah,
CDs killed the mixtape.
Yeah. Now you can't even find a car with a CD player.
Nah. Yeah, what do you do with them all?
Yeah. So your mixtapes, they were like hugely popular, and you were selling them all through Brisbane, Australia wide, and you said you did 11 of them.
Yeah, there was 11 different mixtapes. The last one I ever did was called Illegal Frequencies, and I think it was released in 98, 99, but that's when CDs took over. I didn't go down the CD world at all.
Yeah, cool. Well, mate, this is a podcast about the history of the scene, and I'm a real nerd. I love hearing the old stories. So do you want to tell us how you got into it, how you got into dance music?
Okay. Well, there's actually lots of stories of how I actually got into it. One of the first ones was when I was a kid. I used to listen to a lot of hip hop music and stuff. And my brother and I used to be in a breakdancing group called the Circuit Breakers. And one of the first concerts I ever went to was the Rocksteady Crew. Hey, you, the Rocksteady Crew, show us what you do, make a move, make a groove. I can still remember. I was so young that my eldest brother had to take me to it. It was that festival hall. So I first moved to Brisbane in 1988, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember what Expo was.
Well, I moved to Brisbane about the same time, but I just missed Expo, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, it brought in a lot of people from around the world, and I was, apprentice chef at a hotel sort of resort, and there's a lot of Europeans, a lot of guys from England and stuff, and I used to, hang out with these dudes, and we used to hit the clubs pretty much, every night or whenever we could, and a lot of these guys used to bring like mixtapes from pirate radio from back in England over to Australia and stuff. So I started hearing a lot of these mixtapes, and, I used to high-speed dub them off these guys, 88, 89. I was listening to, like, Carl Cox, Rat Pack, Eon, The Spice Must Flow, all those, and all those sort of guys. And that was a really big influence. A lot of that music that was hearing from, that was coming out of England, that just was not here in Brisbane at that time, so that hadn't quite made it. And there was a lot of around about 89. There was a new club. 88 when Expo was here. There was a nightclub that was my favourite club of all time. I used to pretty much go there. I used to do room service until like 2 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. I was at Transformers on the dance floor. And I think you'll find that Peter Tagani, Hayden Butler were resident DJs there back in the day. And about 2 a.m. they used to play a lot of the sort of, get into the, harder stuff. And they played a lot of acid house sort of music. Next is yeah, everything starts with an E from Boy George. Yeah, a lot of that sort of a lot of hip house music as well. So that was my youth, and that was like that's the first sort of music I started hearing back then. Yeah.
Hey, where was Transformers? Like, whereabouts in the city was it?
I think it turned into a bar called the Adrenaline. Yeah, I'd have to hit the
Yeah.
wife up. She's got a better memory for she's the calendar and the maps. But I think it's Charlotte Street. It was it was a two-story building. There's some photos that kick around it on the internet. If you see them, I'll flick them over to you or something. But
Yeah, cool.
it was a legendary club. It was massive. Yeah, that actually I think it turned into Adrenaline Club, but they split the club up because it was two stories. They split it into two different. I think it's office buildings now. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, shame, eh? That's just the way it goes. All of the
yeah.
all the clubs turn into offices or housing.
That's right. And Brisbane City was it was a real club precinct back in those days, like late 80s, early 90s. Everything was in the clubs in the city, all the clubs, all the big clubs. Lexington Queen, that was a big one. The gig. Gig didn't really play sort of, too much dance music or Mary Street. No, it was Scary Street. It was pretty scary, the music they played there.
I used to go
uh,
there on a Thursday
yeah,
night.
and then there was Metropolis as well. So
Oh,
Metropolis
yeah,
that was a good club as well. A lot of adrenaline events were there. A lot of other raves were there as well.
cool. Do you remember what pirate radio stations those tapes were from in the UK?
No idea, mate.
Yeah, it's just
You're
so
asking me
many.
something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone there was like Radio One was pirate radio before it became a commercial radio, and that's actually how they become a commercial radio. Is it was probably the most famous uh, pirate radio, but there were so many pirate radio stations. It wasn't funny.
Mm.
Infinity was Infinity FM. There was heaps of them. My best mate, I've known him for like 35 years. He had a pirate radio station broadcasting out of his mum's garden shed. Like, so, like everyone was doing it. It was like
Yeah,
the new rates. But yeah, they all got nicked as well.
eventually. Yeah, yeah. I've got a guy coming on the podcast. I won't reveal his name, but he's a pretty big deal from the UK, and he was mad into the pirate radio scene and
Oh yeah,
changing locations and
yeah,
ripping aerials down, putting them up, and yeah, it sounds like
yeah,
a wild thing to do. Got to be
yeah. It
super
certainly was.
passionate about the music to be doing that shit.
Yeah, because no one would play the music. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
nuts.
radio stations would play it. It had to be pirate or underground. That's the only way you're going to hear it, or a mixtape.
Yeah. So how did you start like getting into DJing? It's
Well, so
like,
I used
sorry,
to,
just for the people listening, like especially younger people, like DJing wasn't even really a thing, was it? Like
no,
back then.
no, it really wasn't. It wasn't like on the stage. It was like a DJ was, just off in a corner in a booth somewhere. Normally you wouldn't see him. It was never on a stage. Probably wasn't until the mid '90s where it was centralised and on stage. We didn't have monitors as well. We used to mix off the front of house, which was, you know, there would always be a massive delay between with what you were doing on the decks and then coming out of the speakers. Um, but yeah, so it was never glorified. There was a couple of clubs that used to have like, there'd be like a DJ console up the top somewhere. But I actually, yeah, I used to work in this Italian restaurant in the early '90s, and I used to go to all the clubs. So I was a mad clubber. It was like we didn't have raves back in those days. It was all called clubs, clubbing or dance parties. Dance parties was the rave back then, and I used to go to all the clubs and pretty much bribe my way in with free pizzas. So I used to have a bit of a thing going on. So the guys would ring me up and go, yeah, well, pizza down at Rhythm Zone or whatever. So I send pizzas there and be like, get us in on the door, let us in for free, or give us a few drinks and stuff like that. And I used to always get into the rhythm zone actually. This at Lexington Queen with free pieces back in the day. And so yeah, I was going out a lot, and there used to be a hip hop night called Pooh Bar, run by two guys called Will and Ravi, and I used to work with the Will guy, and he was a pizza delivery guy. Yeah, good barter system that was. And yeah, he they were pretty much, in the elbow pretty hard back in those days. And they were quite frequent. It wasn't a big night, but they used to get probably 50 people down there for their hip hops, and they're pretty good on the turntables and stuff. And but they actually went, because that was in the Myer Centre at Metropolis, and underneath, where Metropolis was, you could go down to fire escapes. Anyway, they're down there smoking a fat reefer, and the security guards caught them. There was a bit of a scuffle, and they got kicked out of the club, and they weren't allowed to go back into the Myer Centre or the whole lot. So they actually lost their night. And the manager at the time, from memory, his name's Matthew. He came into the restaurant and was telling me the story about, how these guys being booted out. It was like, oh, that's terrible news. And he said, the worst thing is, I've got no one to play music on Wednesday nights. And I said, if it helps out, I got a box of records. I can play on Wednesday night. And he said, sweet, see you next Wednesday night. So I, rocked up to Metropolis. I got there early because I had no experience at all. I just had a couple of, belt-driven turntables and a realistic mixer at home that I used to try and sort of string, sets together. And, excuse me, and I actually learnt how to mix in the Metropolis on a massive sound system with no monitor. And I actually learned how to beat mix there. So, and I did probably one night, but back then, I only had like one box of records. It was probably about 30 tunes. I just didn't have enough tunes to play a whole night. So I asked a bunch of mates, and it was like, DJ Christian, Zen Trady. I've actually got a poster over there with all the names on it. Strange Master, DJ Strange Master. There's a name you haven't heard for a while. And I said, got this night going, and I haven't got enough records to play. These guys want to come down, and there was about 5 or 6 of us. And they all came down. Barkin Boy came down as well. He actually was playing there a bit. And so it was like, 6 guys playing pool and 2 dudes drinking. No one was there for the music except for these 6 guys that were playing records. And over time, people started coming out. It was like, we get all our mates together, tell people word of mouth and that. And after about 6 months, we had about 150, 200 people in there. And then it was like a regular thing every Wednesday night. It was like, we had this night going, and I've always been a bit of a comedian. And then one day, these journos bowled in from Rave magazine. It's dead and gone now. Which was like, generalised, music mag that was, had all the events and fashion and weddings.
Massive back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, do you remember it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they bowled in, and they were like, "Oh, what's going on here? And what's this night called?" And everyone knows I was, I'm always mucking around. But the record that was playing at the time, I just looked at the record, and they said, "Oh, what's the night called?" I said, "It's Magic Roundabout," and everyone sort of, had a bit of a chuckle, and everyone was sort of like going around, and they were like, "Oh, what's your DJ name?" And everyone had like a pro DJ name except for me. My surname's Crook. And everyone's like, they're asking, they write down Magic Roundabout. And I was like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm DJ Zen Trady." Zen Trady is a strange master. It's going around, DJ Christian. I was thinking, DJ Brenton, that sounds pretty bad. Can't be DJ Crook. That's going to be about as good as my mixing is right about now. And anyway, I just blurted out like DJ Thief, and it just stuck with me. I never really thought anything about the night. Just get back on the beers and play the tunes. And then the next week, the Rave magazine is coming out. We open the mag, and there it is. Check out Magic Roundabout every Wednesday night. DJ Thieves and Tradie, Strange Master, and all these names. And it was like, bang. And it just blew up from there.
Stuck.
And that's when I got my first dance party gig. It was New Year's Eve. It's pretty blurry memory. I haven't been kind to the memory over the years. And I think it was either New Year's Eve 1990 or New Year's Eve 91, but I played at a party put on by Peter Brown, the famous Peter Brown. It was a rad promoter. He asked me to play at a party called Zoom, and that was my first dance party that I ever played at. So, 1990, 1991, something like that, yeah.
I mean, geez, man,
that's how I started.
you've been DJing for bloody donkey's years.
Yeah. Let's not count them.
You still got all your records, or most of them?
Yeah, there's some of them behind me.
Yeah.
That's some of them up there. Yeah. 9,000 records. I have lost records over time. I actually lost my whole 7-inch record collection because before 12 inches was big, I had a lot of 7-inch records, and I had probably 3 or 4 crates of them. 7 inches, all like 80 stuff. I lost a lot of that. So moving house, I used lots of tunes. I used to swap a lot of tunes for other tunes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you got sort of moving, doing the DJing and the guest spots at events, did it just start picking up regularly from there?
Yeah, I would head out to like if I got booked for a gig, I would head out and someone else would hit me up to see if I'd do another gig, and I'd always pretty much just say yeah, I was keen. Around about like the timeline, I'm pretty sure someone will correct me in the comments. My memory is a bit mouldy, but it might have been 92, 93, something like that when the Manhattan Club opened, and I got a resident, Saturday night resident club gig there. There was a lot of other DJs playing there, Animex and Angus and a whole heap of other guys played there as well. It lasted as a Globe for about a year, and then they changed the name to the Site, and that was at Manhattan. It's gone now too. It's a massive building block, apartments on it, takes up the whole corner. There was some massive gigs there, NASA, Infinity, The Prodigy played there, 94. There's Ken Jensen played there. It was. I used to actually play pretty commercial house music there on a Saturday night, and I always remember that Peter Brown used to always say to me, "Don't play any of that hardcore stuff." And back then, it was like all the breakbeat sort of stuff, which was pretty much on par with what the Prodigy was. And I could see from the corner of the DJ console where you could see the office all the way up the top, and if Peter was in there, the light would be on, right? When he used to always go home about 2:00. I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm going to get in trouble with Mr. Brown. But I could see his light turn off, and I'd wait about 10 minutes for that. I'd be like, right,
he's out of here.
And as soon as that light would go off, about 10 minutes later, I start slamming, all the Prodigy stuff, all the hardcore breakbeat, and all the, all that sort of stuff. We used to play that like 3:00 onwards. It used to always rage. People used to be up for it. It was awesome times.
Was ecstasy around in Brisbane around that period? Like drugs?
Ecstasy actually was around from about 1985, 1986.
Oh, wow.
If you look up the history of invented in America and in the 80s for people that were having relationship issues.
Yeah.
Of all things. And it turned into be a party drug. But yeah, it was around since the 80s, and 100%.
So it was floating around Brisbane around that time as well, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Yeah.
So when you're like DJing at, say, the Site, would you say that there was people on ecstasy in the crowd?
There'd be people on all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
I would say that no matter where you go, there would be 5% of people that would be under the influence of
something.
Something illegal, and then 95% of people would be drinking.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
I'm just always interested because I think, Australia being so isolated, I always wonder, whether the drugs were around at that period of time, or how popular it was, and because it
It
definitely.
probably wasn't as popular. I mean, like the whole rave industry, the whole clubbing industry, the whole especially dance music was very shunned. If you were a raver or a DJ or something, you didn't talk about it to people you didn't know that actually were ravers. Say it was like you had a double life. Uh, you didn't talk about going out raving. You didn't talk about going to the clubs or anything in your workplace. You would never,
Just
if you had a
secret.
big weekend, you would make sure that you could mask it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was just very frowned upon. It had a really bad stigma, um, which is like, look, back then you wouldn't hear it on the radio. Now you just turn on the radio and you got dance hits from the 90s, and drive around in the car and listen to dance hits from the 90s. In the 90s, that was like, oh, what's this stuff you're listening to? Yeah,
Yeah.
you bloody weirdo. So
So at that time, did you ever play at the Beat?
I've never played a gig at the Beat.
No way. Never.
No
Wonder
joke.
why.
Um, I did work for John Hannay, who owned the Beat, but I actually leased a room off of him that I did System 6 in.
Oh, is that the small room with the ceiling?
Yeah, the spiky roof room.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that was pumping in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a System 6 when it was just in that little room. You walked up the stairs on the
Yeah.
outside, and it was I think from memory it had like a BPM counter on the
On the air, we
on the
did.
booth. Is it? Yeah, yeah. Just got quicker and quicker as the night went on.
Can you keep up?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
It's
it was unreal.
yeah, there's a funny story there. So there was the System 6 started in that spiky roof room, and we used to get probably 150, 200 people every, we used to do it monthly. We started off weekly, didn't work, and then we went to monthly. And yeah, so we were in that for years, probably 3 or 4 years, and it was the Roxy was taken over by a company called Australian Music Corporation, and they took over the lease, and John Hannay had to be out of there, and so it was probably the last week, and we were thinking to ourselves that once he's out, he's going to be gone, and it was the last Saturday. Anyway, the phone's going off, and I've answered it. It's John Anna, and he's rang me up, and he said, yeah, I've locked you out of the club. You owe me 4 weeks rent. If you don't pay the money, you're not getting in the club, and you're not having tonight, and I'm going to keep all your stuff. I was like, where are you? And he's like, I'm at the Beat. So I jumped in the car, did burnouts down to the bank, just got the money out, and anyway, drove down to the Beat, parked out the back, went around there. So I was like, really sorry about that. Haven't paid the rent, and anyway, so gave him money, gave us the keys. Anyway, so we went in. It was the last night. It was a spiky roof room, System 6. Would have been 97, 98, something like that. Maybe 98. And anyway, end of the night. Sisto finished about 3 a.m. or something, and I had a mate who had a big van. Anyway, we put all the stuff in the van, double 8-inch bass bins, turntables, all the lighting, everything. Turned out none of the stuff was mine. It was his. So yeah, there you go.
So what happened there?
Eh?
When you say it wasn't yours, like none of the sound system.
No,
all
yeah,
that?
because he was holding the rent over us, and you're going to keep all that stuff, but it was his stuff.
Oh shit! So what do you have to give it back?
You never asked for it.
So you just took
I
it.
haven't got the double 8 ends anymore.
Oh shit!
But yeah, so if you know anything about John Hannay, he was a ruthless club owner, and yeah, he's got a very wedged history.
Shit. Full on, mate. That's just so common in the nightclub industry, though, isn't it? You know,
actually, I actually sold him. We had Ultimate Buzz, which was kind of like a similar band to Scooter, and they were out in Australia. I knew them well, and the beat wanted to book Ultimate Buzz, and we said, yeah, okay. It was like, right, it was, X amount of dollars for the band to play. Anyway, so I said to the guys, I said, this guy's really dodgy. Don't go on until, he actually gives you the money. Anyway, rock up, they set up all the gear. And I said to the dude, the manager dude, I was like, yeah, right, they're ready to go on, but they're not going to go on until they get paid. And this guy gives me an envelope, right? And I take it back and give it to Calvin, and he opens up the envelope, and it's just cut up pieces of paper. It's cut up pieces of paper.
No way. What did you do?
Yeah.
Pack it all up and go?
I just went back to the dude and said, this isn't money, man. Like, they're going to go if they don't get paid. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he gives us another envelope, and that one had money in it. It was just like, yeah.
Hell.
Yeah, so it's been pretty crazy days.
That shit just happens so much, eh? Or you don't get paid, or yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
so many, a lot of acts, a lot of artists, a lot of DJs didn't get paid. A lot of guys bringing in stuff that, you did it for love.
So once you finished up with System 6 at the in that small room, I thought you pretty much moved straight into the arena doing the bigger shows.
We did. So, there was a bit of hands, changing over stuff because there was some licensing things that they had to go through to get it all up to speed and legit. They actually widened the fire escape so they could fit more people in. They had to put fire wells in. There's a lot of stuff that was dodgy from the early 90s, and that just it couldn't happen with fire
no safety
stuff like
that.
But we pretty much stayed in that room for a bit. But then there was the side room, which had a veranda. Do you remember that?
Was that where you kind of had the new school room eventually? Is that the part?
Yeah. So then there was the new school room out there, and then we moved into we did a bunch of gigs there, and then we moved into the top room, and we did one event in there, and it went that crazy that we had to turn people away. We couldn't fit them in that top room. And then after that, we went to the main room. So then it was the main room for a bunch of shows there. And then we opened up upstairs, which was a hardcore room. And then we opened up the side, which was the old spiky roof room, which was System 6 originally. That was a drum and bass room. And that was, Static and Lincoln used to run that room, and Saber, MC Saber, massive drummer, bass heads. And we had the new school room, which was DJs used to be able to send in, mix CDs, and then we'd listen to them. And if they could, we'd listen to about the first 15 minutes. And if they could bring a set together, we would give them a gig. And so we used to run 45-minute sets in there from start to finish. So we used to cram in eight or nine new school, DJs in there. It was just really good for I found it really hard to break into the scene. And I've seen so many other people, even today, so just find it really hard to break that mold and get a gig. So there's a lot of DJs that we actually gave them their first gig. So there's a couple of names there that we gave first gigs that went on to be big careers. The Stafford Brothers.
The Stafford Brothers played at a System 6.
Yeah, in the new school room. Yeah. Yeah. And Searle, DJ Searle.
Yeah. Massive hardcore guy.
There's more as well, but yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. I don't know what the Stafford Brothers were they playing hard dance or just a bit of everything?
It was the year 2000.
Could have been.
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah.
But it was because we weren't just one genre. We were we would never been, even personally, like my record collections, everything from house music to hardcore, hard trance, and all sorts.
Yeah.
Like System 6 was all styles, so we never went, nah, that's not our style. It was always a mixed bag of everything. It was, yeah, we used to, like the main room used to always start off with house and then just end with like slam and hardcore. So it was a big mixture of everything. So we would predominantly put in the main room what was the biggest thing now. Yeah.
Yeah. So just talking about the System 6 raves, like I just remember walking into that main room at the arena, just going like, it just hit you when you walk through the door, hey, and it was just pumping, packed dance floor. It was always, well, my memory of it is always kind of like, seemed like hard house sort of stuff. Miss Tracy, DJ BJ, you, and then whatever internationals were around. Like what's some of the acts that you've had come through and play in the main room? You must have had some massive
Oh,
stars.
it's an endless list. So it's frequent acts that used to always come. Scott Brown, Pixie. We've had Billy Bunter, John Doe, K90, Kevin Energy, Ian M, R&R Fierce. Rest in peace, R&R Fierce. It's an insane list over the
Yeah.
time. I can't remember all. Chris C. Um, yeah. Captain Tinrib. It just goes on forever.
Every big name pretty much, hey,
It
in
was
the
pretty
scene.
much every big name.
Yeah.
And the way that started is I used to do the DJ circuit around Australia, and it was like, the gigs. It was like Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. Used to, if you get into Perth, which, it's a red eye there and back. So it was a bit of a jump, but that was pretty much, so I used to go to Adelaide a fair bit and do gigs down there. And in the 90s, I used to hang out with a guy. His name was DJ Odyssey.
Yeah.
And we used to always get the shits because we get offered big name artists, and we get, Thursday or Sunday, or you can get, OD 404 on Thursday. And it was just like, who the fuck's going to go out on Thursday? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's not, so we actually got the shits with that. And so myself and him started System 6 in Adelaide, which would have been 99, 2000 concept, 99 went to live sort of 2000. And the whole idea of that is that we would have System 6 in Adelaide and System 6 in Brisbane. That when the artists came out, they would play, the 2 Saturday nights for us.
Yeah.
So, if because coming out from England, especially England, is such a long way. Staying 2 weekends is 10 days plus 4 days, 5 days flying and traveling and stuff. So you're taking a big chunk out of their time. So, getting people to stay, for 3 weekends or 4 weekends is pretty much impossible. So, the Fridays, then we had the opportunity of, offering Fridays to other states. Perth used to pick up Fridays or whatever. But we had other because we pretty much knew everyone. So we would just be flicking texts off of someone say it's coming through, or, these guys keen. And that's pretty much, I was in England in '99, and I hung out with he stayed at his house. I slept in his studio of all things. And he was giving me shit because I was sleeping in long johns, thermal underwear. It was man.
Freezing. So cold.
And I couldn't handle the cold, man. I'm a Brizzo,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I went up to Scotland and hung out with Callum Bright from Ultimate Buzz. I did a bunch of gigs up there, and then came down and played at a gig at After Dark at Manchester. And after I played there, Scott Brown told me, he said, mate, that's got to be like the dodgiest nightclub in the UK. It was one rough place. But I met a lot of people then, and Odyssey had been to England a bit as well, so they, people knew who we were, and we were solid. So we make sure that people had somewhere to stay, good rooms, and when they came to Australia, we'd show them around, or we would show them, our own backyard. So, first time Sharky came to Australia, we put him in a hotel, and he was in a hotel one night. And he said, "You'd rang me up." So he come pick me up. And he's picked him up. And he goes, "I don't like hotels. I'm staying at your house now." And honestly, man, it's like Sharky used to just come out and just stay at my house all the time. It was like he was just always over. He's honestly like my little brother or my older brother or whatever. But he's like and just a really, really good inspiration over the years. And I really get like a lot of like what was happening in England, and of like that sort of style and what they go through. So I had a really good influence of what was now or what was coming. So I really did have a leg up on what's from those connections.
Man, I was in England in like 98 and 99, and I went to one of those big raves at the Sanctuary where they had
Yeah.
and the happy hardcore room where like Hixie and Psy and Force and Styles and all them guys, Slipmat, DJ Vibes, like the whole lineup. It was epic, but the only thing that I didn't like was that they all played the same tunes.
Yeah.
Like every DJ would play this.
Care.
They all played Shooting Star. Like by the fifth time you'd heard it, you're like, oh, this guy's finishing with Shooting Star. Like, and then the next guy come on. But man, the thing that I took away from that was that the different rooms, the drum and bass room, the hardcore room, the hardcore room, I think started with like trance with like M Zone, Mark E.G., and then it moved through to like Scorpio and that. And man, that was mind blowing. Like that
just really take you on a journey as well.
Yeah.
So you had like a whole journey experience, of different styles, and each DJ would take you on a different journey and different experiences, it's definitely.
It was incredible. I wonder if that will ever come back in now, the multi-room events, because it just seems like it's begging for it at the moment.
Well, I just don't like when I'm looking at Brisbane now, like where it's all gone. It's I'm not going out that much. I'm not doing that many. I'm not doing gigs every weekend like I used to. But from what I see now, there's really good hard style events going on. There's really good hard techno events going on. There's all these other there's like the Renegade guys, and they got like their crew and stuff. But like we don't have a venue that's going to be able to like house it. Have those multi-genre things now, unless the only place I could think of would be the Met. And that's only sort of got like sort of 2-3 rooms, and it sort of would blend together or bleed out into other rooms and stuff. The music and stuff. I can't see the Met saying, we'll give you a Saturday night, let you put on a 4-room rave here when they're just packing out. Trying to get a venue, give you a Saturday night.
Yeah.
In any cities.
I mean, we don't have it. We don't have an arena anymore, unfortunately.
We don't have a Roxy. We don't have a Arena. We don't have a site. We don't have a Tube. We don't have Metropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost a lot over the time.
It's sad seeing the arena get bulldozed. Remember seeing that on Facebook, just going, so many great memories from that place.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be. I don't reckon you would have slept for days if you smelt the dust of that building getting pulled down, eh?
Yeah, just bagging it up, running off with it. Shit.
On the black market.
Oh shit, mate.
It's a great venue, but I don't know if you know much of the history. It was actually like that venue was actually built by I won't. Yeah, but it's all underground people, underworld people built that. Same as the beat and a lot of that. So it was all the whole thing was made out of concrete as well. That's why, we used like the Sisto events. We used to put 25,000 watts in there and run it at 117 decibels. Like we used to have a sound guy. His name was Paul. We used to call him Bagels, and he's like. The way that he used to sound check, he used to stand in the middle of the dance floor, right? And if it made his shirt move like that to the kick drum, it was right. It would just hit you. Nowadays I feel sorry for this next generation because, well, they won't go deaf like I'm half deaf, but you're going out now and it's like, they've got 110 decibels, or you can only run it at 98 decibels. Like my lawnmower's 95 decibels, man. Like, come on, like,
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's
so
not right. Hey, like it needs to be
no, and
loud to
in
experience it
our day
properly.
we used to. I shouldn't say it, but like in our day,
Yeah,
we used to party until 5 o'clock, and then we go to a recovery party, and then we go to some mate's house, you know. Whereas now, like it's all like with all the lockouts, it's like 2 a.m. and then 3 a.m. everything's closed. So like, we're lucky because we lived through a special time.
yeah, very lucky. I kind of feel like at the time I knew it was really special too, so I really embraced it. I didn't. That's one of my things I don't regret. I remember thinking, man, this might not last forever, so just soak it up. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I don't really know. I never really thought about it. Like, me and my mates used to always joke around, like, I'll still be raving when I'm 50. And I kind of still am, really. Um, I still listen to music. I still love music. I love the new music. I love all the styles that come out. Um, some of the DJs are questionable, but there's like, even back in the older days, there was like, average DJs that would make it, and then there'd be like really good DJs that wouldn't. So it's still just the same now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I never really didn't think at any point did I think, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going along with the flow. I was just like, oh, we'll just do this. Oh, we'll try that, or we just had ideas, and then there was like the other guys. We used to run it past other guys and say, "Oh, what do you think of this?" And well, oh yeah, why do you do that? Or say it was like it was never for me. I'm a chef. I always knew that it was going to be okay. Like if this ever stopped, I'd just go back to cooking. So
Yeah.
and I did.
Man, I think of like DJing as like a DJ set is kind of like a meal in a weird way. It's got
Mate, it's like washing dishes, actually.
okay.
Yeah, because I'm really fast in the pot wash. Yeah, I could get 3 or 4 plates through, no worries, mate, in a couple of seconds. It was like, yeah, how you doing, Alan? It's a long story.
Like how back to the original questions that we had, like the scene has evolved over the years, like nationally, internationally, whatever, like how do you think it's evolved musically and
Oh, that's
culturally?
that's a tricky question. Um, I reckon the production has got so much better. I reckon digital is definitely the way to go. Like the sound that comes out of the digital is so good. It's so big, so round, so clean, so clear.
Clear, hey. Yeah.
The '90s stuff, like I said before, was good, but the naughty stuff was even better. The 2010 stuff was better. Yeah, like for me, dance music really sort of like. I had a bunch of other mates say it as well. Just really died off 2008, 2009, around that GFC period where it just like dance music just was. But then 2010 it sort of made a comeback. So it has branched out. It is millions of more different styles. Every time someone turns up and says, "Oh, this is hard step," or "This is my kids listen to funk," like there's all these different styles. To me, I just go, "Oh, that sounds like techno," or "That sounds like breakbeat," or. So I'm hearing a lot of this next gen get our stuff from the '90s or the '90s, and they're sampling it, and they're not using the whole songs, but they're just putting their twist on it. I love it. Honestly, some of the
Yeah.
stuff sounds great, and because it's it has their twist on it, and it has a digital you know production on it. The quality's better, and the songs are shorter now. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Look, yeah,
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah. Short
So
breakdown.
I've been back in the
Yeah.
3 minutes. Drum and bass 2.5 minutes. So like when you're watching these DJs these days, like our generation was about journey mixing, doing really long 64 bar mixes, or 3 decks mega mixing and that sort of things. Whereas these days, the DJs will just play like a minute of a song. They'll just find that best bit of the song and just play that and then just bang it, mash it through. So that like my record is like 23 records in 45 minutes. Mate, I see these kids play 23 records in 6 minutes, they just smash it. So they're just playing like that 1 minute and just bang, should bang, should bang, should say. Like the skill level is there. They don't have to get the pitch, but they're just smashing through so much more. So that's just like producers go, what's the use of writing a 6-minute song? We'll just write a 2.5 minute, 3 minute song. Like some of these drum and bass guys, man, like, oh my God, I don't know. That Andy C, I've seen him on the internet. Like, it's insane. The DJing skill level's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
Literally mixes in on drops and stuff and just drops both drops at the same. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. That Andy
brilliant.
C at that Tomorrowland just like dropped a breakdown and dropped a mix into a breakdown at the same time. So it was breakdown, mixed into a song. It was just like, how you doing that?
Do you know what I love about Andy C too is that it's always like a history lesson. He'll play new music, but then he'll drop like the riff of an old classic over the top of it. Like he's constantly like kind of educating. So clever.
Yeah. It's definitely king of drum and bass.
Mate, you must have some you probably can't tell all of them, but you must have some pretty crazy stories from some of the events.
I got one crazy story. I've told a few mates of this. I'll tell you the story, and you can tell me at the end if we should edit it out, right?
Yeah, right.
So it would have been early 2000. I was doing a lot of gigs, right? So I was getting, back then emails were pretty like a new thing, and I was getting all these gigs. And I got this one gig in Cairns, right? And I've been up there a bunch, like a truckload, and I had a mate up there as well, a couple of mates up there. Anyway, I got this email. It was like, oh yeah, it's gig up there. It's playing at bush stuff. Pay X amount. And it was like, yeah, sweet. So pick me up from the airport. Book me the flight. So anyway, I get off the flight, get into Cairns, and I get off the plane, stinking hot. And anyway, this guy picks me up in this really old car. Like it's like it's in a bad way. This car. I was thinking to myself, oh.
It's a piece of shit, yeah.
You don't rate him on, okay, can't afford a good car, it's all right. Hope he does a good party. Anyway, so he's like, oh, yeah, we drive back to his house. I'm like, oh, where's the hotel room, man? Like, normally get a hotel room. And anyway, it's like, yeah, I'll just drop you back at my house. I've got to go do some stuff, right? So I guess he's doing stuff. Anyway, so I walk into this house and I sit down at a table. Someone passes me a split, right? And I'm like, no joke, holding on like that. And it gets raided by the cops. And no joke, I shit my pants, right, front to back. And I needed to wear extra socks to wipe it up after. And they came in, I just dumped this joint right straight. And there was an ashtray on the table. And I just stubbed this joint into the sea of ciggy butts, right? And these cops came in and they were like, right, this is a raid. And this dude had like, guns on their armpits, socks and stuff. It's like something big, man. Like I remember experiencing it like. And anyway, so they're grabbing us and stuff, and like everyone had to get strip searched. And dude like grabs me and he's like, yeah, right. And he goes through every single one of my records, right? And then like pats me down and stuff. I got nothing. Anyway, so he takes me in there into the room and he's like, goes for my wallet and stuff, like and he goes, right, show me your gonads and your toes. So I did that. And it was like, get out of this. Anyway, and he's like, right, sit at the table. And there was me and this other dude. I don't know, this guy's, maybe he'll pipe up and say hello. And he says, oh, you're right, you two, you can go. Everyone else is next. And so me and him, this dude runs out and he's like, I'll just ring my missus to come pick us up. Anyways, he comes, we run up the road. Which is like, I was honestly just like...
You're just like, what have you got me involved in here?
Yeah. And so anyway, he's like, yeah, we'll go back to my place. And anyway, so go back to his place. And he's like, oh, do you want a beer? I was like, yeah, dude, because we were both just, just
Shocked.
absolutely nervous wrecks. So we both just smashed the six pack. It was like afternoon, getting stinking hot. It's more humid on a Taiwanese massage parlour, mate. It's steaming. I have a bit of a lie down in a spare room and I have a bit of a nap. Anyway, he comes in, he wakes me up and he says, man, wake up, wake up. And I'm like, what? He's like, the rave's going ahead. The rave's going ahead. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Dude's just been busted. And he's like, no, rave's going ahead. And I'm like, fair income, right? So just get my shit. So like, when we jump in the car, we drive up to the jetty area at Cairns, right? And there's like the Barron River. And anyway, there's like all these cops there. And they're just sort of like staring at us. And one of the dudes just go over to the cops and because we were like, can I get on a boat? Right. So this is the beginning. So anyway, this dude goes over and says, oh, they're not going to get on the boat with all you guys staring at them. So all these cops just jumped in their cars and burned off. So then we got on this big boat, right? And it went up the river, up the Barron River. And if you know anything about Cairns, it goes up the river and it's kind of like, two sort of side mountains sort of things. And there was like, the boat stopped and then there was like a little boat. You had to get off the big boat and get on a little boat and it would take like 10 people over to the shore. And this is just dark. It's night time, right? And all we could hear is like, doof, 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 like this going on. So anyway, we were just like walking through the bushes. I'm carrying two crates of records through the bushes. And we get to the top of this hill, right? And there's this bush doof on the top of this hill. And it's like in Cairns, in the war days, they built like these platforms. They used to put the big guns on to shoot. So, if they had an air raid come in, that's where the guns were. But they didn't have a gun on it, but it was like a bunker in a big flat concrete area. And, Marty, DJ Marston had like his sound system, turntables and everything, laser beams going off the side of the mountain. And, so we just got on it and then just like, I was playing like hard trance, because Cairns people like right into side trance, hard trance to trance sort of stuff. Just played this mad 2-hour trance set like on the edge of the ocean and looking out. It was mental. Anyway, it's like 2 a.m. and I had 7 a.m. flight. So I said to Marty, I said, bro, man, how the fuck am I going to get out of here, dude? Like, I got a flight at 7 a.m. And he's like, Marty's like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Yeah, that's what he talks like. Yeah, it's all good, man. Anyway, he goes, I got a boat. It's down by the river. We'll go down and find it. Anyway, so we go down there and he's got, going for a torch. And he's like, we looking for the boat, but we can't see the boat. And the boat is on anchor, but it's gone like way out because the tide's gone out. And it's like, he's like, here, right. So we can either walk through the mud, push the boat out into the river, and then this is like crocs everywhere. Like,
I was going to say crocodiles.
yeah, everywhere. I'm like, mate, no. And he's like, it's all right. I got a Land Cruiser in the bushes. So anyway, he's like walking around looking for this Land Cruiser. And then he's like, hardcore 4-wheel drives me out of this forest, this bush, and gets onto this road, and then drives me back to the airport. I get there like 6 o'clock, and I get on the flight, and I fly home, right? And and when I get back to Brisbane, I'm like, I'm trying to ring Marty, and was he all right? Did he get back there? All this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then anyway, I finally got a hold of him, and I was like, what happened? What happened? And he's like, man, I went back there, 4-wheel drive into the bushes, and then had to pack all the sound gear, all the lights, all the turntables, and all the records into the back of his Land Cruiser. He had a trip carrier. Anyway, someone was tripping balls up there, and he just thought it was a really good idea to run and jump off the cliff. And he did, but the tire was out. This dude went down the cliff, broke both his ankles. So Marty went and picked him up, right, put him in a wheelbarrow and wheeled him back, put him in the back of the car with his legs up like that. And then 4-wheel drive out of the bush, took this dude to the hospital, and then went home and unpacked all his gear. Rave over.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a story. Yeah. Definitely leaving that in, not editing that bit out.
I think that was the last time I went to Cairns, actually.
Man, I think I might know who you're talking about too. I just remember something about them, hearing about those raves. I think Baby G used to go up there and play at them as well. Yeah, I swear I've heard about them
Oh, yeah.
before.
Marty used to do the maddest, bush tours ever. Um, and he used to do, I can't remember, what's that? There's a party, full moon party in, is it Bali or somewhere like that?
Thailand,
Thailand.
maybe? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he used to play at all those events. Like, yeah, he's a mad psytrance. He's still up there. He's still pumping out his tunes. He's releasing a psytrance song once a month. Still playing Bullstorps. Got the kids, like, yeah,
Generational
happy
bush
days.
stuffers.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Mate,
used to set up
Sorry.
like they used to build like men out of like timber and stuff, and then they'd have like a big bonfire and they'd burn them, and they used to have fire twirlers, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, they were crazy. Yeah,
Just
good time.
nuts. Mate, what about System 6? Like, what's next for that? It's still going? You've been running the events, like, pretty regularly for the last few years, at least.
Did have a hiatus there for a while. There was a couple of little kids that came along and sort of, took over my life. So the kids and having a full-time job. But yeah, 2026 is 30 years of System 6.
Wow. That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to say anything else.
Something big planned, maybe.
Yeah, but I've been talking to a few mates, so we'll see what happens.
Unreal. Mate, we were saying before we started recording that, like, I was an apprentice back when I was like a raver and I was DJing, and I think that having a full-time job was probably what saved my life, because it stopped me from going absolutely mental. Do you reckon the same for you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Make you
it kept
calm
me
down.
grounded. Yeah,
Yeah. Calm down when you got to go back to work on Monday.
yeah,
Yeah, dread to think,
yeah.
like, man, yeah.
We used to call it Terrible Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Monday was bad, but for some reason Tuesday was always worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you slowly recover through the rest of the
and then,
week.
yeah, Wednesday would kind of come good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday kind of like, yeah. Over time, I couldn't party like that anymore. There's no way. If I start at 2 a.m., it takes me 2 weeks to get over that. The last Tuesday nearly killed me. I was honestly lying on the lounge for the whole day. It was such a good gig, and the vibe was so good. I was in such a high, and like I had a smile on my face all day. But honestly, I reckon my soul left my body. you know, it took a while to get over it. But yeah, but back in the old days, I'll tell you what, like, mate, I was a chef in the kitchen. I'll tell you, if I had to work a Sunday, the food was fast and the kitchen was clean.
It was like eyes like dinner plates.
Going a million miles an hour. Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Mate, and the question I've got to ask you, I have to remember to ask everyone this, but what's the ideal BPM for you? What do you reckon the best BPM is?
155.
Wow, pretty quick.
But yeah, I'd kind of work up to, like, say, it depends on what you're listening to. Say, like, my favorite sort of stuff, like, when I go back and listen to all my old stuff, my favorite stuff is the hard house stuff, because it's kind of like a mix of all the stuff from the old days sort of made into the, hard house. So pitched up 150, 155 is probably my favorite. But I reckon an event, like our events, we used to always start our events off at probably 140 and then just end at, like, 180, 200 with, hardcore or whatever. So yeah, as an event, yeah. If you asked me 20 or 25 years ago, what's the ideal BPM, I would have told you it was 180.
180, shit.
Yeah, because that's what was my hardcore days. So,
Yeah.
everything was like slow, was 180. Do you ever get into the speedcore stuff?
Oh, no, like, I used to have a few of the old Rotterdam CDs where they had a little bit of that on it, but yeah, that was just like
220, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. yeah, a really good friend of mine's in a death metal band, and they play the drum kits. It's just a one kick. They do the double kick, and they were writing songs at 300 and stuff. It was just
Far out. Is that
yeah,
both feet? They're going both
yeah,
feet with that? Yeah.
yeah, 300. I don't know how you're doing it.
Got to
Yeah,
be talented to do that.
yeah,
The rhythm in that, hey?
yeah, just ripping. Yeah, I remember the speed core days. I used to always get lots of speeding tickets in my Hotted Up Holden Gemini because because be driving around and tunes about like 200, you just be like, yeah, just ripping.
The accelerator. Yeah.
Yeah, 80's too slow, just holding it flat. Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, what about your productions too? Like I've seen on your Instagram, you're in the studio.
Yeah, yeah. So, probably one of my all-time favorite tunes is "Everything You Need" by Vision 45. Um, really good mate of mine. I've known him since the 90s. He's had a few of my pieces, you could say. Uh, and I was actually around his place and they were writing that song, but he was saying that was probably when it was fourth or fifth go at it. I've asked him, I've said to him, 100 times, where's the remixes? Where's the new tune? This, it's like for me, that song should be famous now. And I hit him up, so we're going to remix your song, and he said, "Oh, many have tried before. Big names, Boxcars had a go at it. He's had a go at it, and they all failed, or they've all given up halfway through. And my perception is it's a masterpiece, and you can't improve a masterpiece. So that's not what I'm trying to do to it. What I'm trying to do to it is give it a 2025 twist. I'm listening to this next generation, grab our old tunes and then putting their old twist on it. So my plan is to give this a hard techno twist and bring it into 2025. There's no way you can make a song better, but we can do a different version of it, I reckon. I did another tune with a really good friend of mine. I'm pretty sure if people know me, they'll know who it is. He goes under the guise of the Mini Meows because of his other production labels and rights and stuff. But he's always like hit me up, but come and write a song, come and do this and come and do that. And I've always given him, he calls them excuses. I call them full-time jobs and kids.
Yeah.
And so we wrote, like, I don't know if you'd call it a hardcore song or a happy hardcore song, but we did write a song because, I am DJ Thief. I have written songs from ground up and stuff before, but I just want to like pinch things. So it's a twist of like an 80s song. And we actually made that, but we had a label that was kind of keen to license it, but we haven't heard anything back for a while. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of tumbleweed sound there. It is on the Mixcloud. It's called Ice Cold. So yeah, you can jump on there and listen to it. It might actually be going on Mixcloud this week. It's already on the YouTube channel. We did make a film clip for it, and yeah, Ice Cold. It's a hardcore song. Before I die, I don't know if I'm at that age where you have the bucket list, but I want to write a song of each style. You know what I mean? Like in each style. So I want a hard techno, hardcore, hard style, drum and bass. Maybe I'll write some kind of cheesy dance song, that sort of like target the charts or something. All this sort of stuff is just me playing with toys. System 6 included. There's like, I don't want to. There's nothing to get out of it. There's nothing. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And now the kids are getting a bit older, and I've tamed my job down a bit. So just sort of go back to what used to make me happy. Yeah. Not that the kids don't, except for when they don't tidy their rooms.
Unreal. Mate, like just before you go, what's I'm throwing a curveball at you here, but like, what's like, say, one of the like best or like one of the biggest memories that you've got from like the System 6 raves in the 2000s? Like if you think of a highlight moment.
Man, like that, that, like there's so many like amazing events that I played at. But I always say this, and it doesn't really matter. Like, I've played to 10 people and I've played to 10,000 people. But there's that one vibe. There's that vibe. It doesn't matter how big it is, but there's that vibe that it just gets you, and it feels in your stomach. Like last Tuesday, it had that vibe, and it just stuck with me. It's still stuck with me now. Um, but I really do like probably my fondest memories. If people talk about if you had a time machine, what would you go back to? And I would probably just grab a couple of young people and take them back to 2002.
Yeah.
That 2001, that 2002 era where it just went, and yeah, that was probably.
Is that kind of like around the time when, like, I think that was around that time, like Nick Sentience and BK came to Brisbane
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah. Nick Sentience came. He played for us as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember that sound just kind of took over, and it was just everywhere in all the record shops, all the CDs. It was so new and fresh, but it was, yeah, incredible. You still go onto YouTube and look those old mixes up, and like you watch a Boiler Room, and then all the like new young DJs are playing those old tunes in their sets.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Because their technology's like a lot different from turntable technology, so they can just get like that one bit, the best bit, right? And they just grab that, and then they can just chuck it in, and then just put it in any kind of kick under it, and then just loop it. So,
Yeah.
look, BK's Revolution, like that song was 25 years old, and that just all of a sudden just exploded from the next generation, just playing that song. Even I was doing this in the 2000s. I was playing stuff in the 90s that people had just forgotten about. There was a song, I can't remember the name of it, but I do remember the label. It's MMR, Most Music Records, and it's written by Carl Cox. And that was 10 years old. And I was playing that at this stage. People used to ask me, what's this tune? And I used to say to them, you need a time machine to buy this song. You're not going to get it, So
10 years old.
So yeah, like now with the digital, all it's going to take us the next generation is to listen back and find those big songs and revamp it. I mean, it's been our generation did it. The next generation's going to do it. The sound's already there.
Yeah.
That just that's why I want to get involved. That's why I want to do everything you need, because I want to do it before someone else does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone would. That's one of them tunes you put on, and you feel like even if you probably haven't heard it, you feel like you've heard it before, and you realize, it was on the radio so much in the 90s that you just heard it, you didn't even know.
Yeah. Massive tune.
Oh man, this has been unreal, man. And I've really enjoyed it, man. This has been so cool. So thanks for coming on, man. It took a little bit of
mate. It's been good
organising.
Thanks for having me.
Nah, you were bloody brilliant.
What's the BPM?
Mate. Yeah.
What's your favourite BPM?
Oh, a bit slower. Probably around like 128, something like that.
Oh man, deep vocal house.
Yeah, a bit slower.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
Yeah, no, I was mad into like Sasha and Oakenfold and that in the late 90s, and then but man, I love all of it, and I have like pretty good knowledge of all of it, like every different genre, especially the hard stuff. I know quite a bit about, just because of being a raver around that period. Especially in Brisbane, we had so much of that hard dance stuff come through. But then I have quite a good knowledge of house and techno and all that. But yeah, definitely. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew a lot more than I did until I started doing this podcast, and then I talked to people like Noel from Vision 45, and and you realize, holy shit, there's a whole generation before that I just know nothing about.
And there's a whole generation before us as well, you know. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. So
yeah.
got to keep learning. But thanks, man. Been
Thank you,
unreal.
Ray.
I'll end it there.
Hardcore will never die.